So you got a new kidney. What does that mean? What's up, everyone? So a while back, I posted a video letting you all know that I got a new kidney. And, what does that mean? What are the differences? And also, I'm going to try to not keep this video very long, but I want to talk about the 10 things that I pretty much have had to do or experience after getting a new kidney. So, before all that, just a reminder about for a good 8 years, I was a dialysis patient. And being on dialysis, you're supposed to, I say supposed to, because I know there's a lot of dialysis patients out there that don't follow what you should be doing. One is fluid restrictions. And that means basically I was limited to about a liter of fluid per day. And if you think about it, that's not a lot, to go throughout the day. Um, I was pretty good. Yes, there were a couple times I would do a little bit more than a liter, but not a whole lot. And if you do a lot, I trust me, when you go for treatment, they have to pull out a lot, and it will make you miserable the next day. I mean, I was exhausted, but not as terrible as some of these other people who still think they can drink as much as they want. My first experience, or number one on my list, is basically, let me go kind of back to being a dialysis patient. You don't really pee as much or urinate, whatever you want to call it. You don't go as much, or as some patients later on hardly ever go. And when you do go, it's not a whole lot. So your bladder kind of restricts, gets smaller because it's not really being used that much. So my first experience, number one on this list, is you're basically starting with a baby bladder. What does that mean? Well, pretty much when my kidney decided to finally start waking up, because after the transplant, it's like a sleep. It's not fully functioning right away. But when it does, it's kind of like a baby bladder. And only people that have been on diuretics would probably understand this. But when you get that certain urge to go, there's no holding it. You better be ready to use the bathroom as soon as possible, um, or you're going to have an accident, just like a baby, because their bladders are really tiny. They're slowly growing. They haven't been used as much. Well, a new transplant patient like myself experienced that for at least a month, if not a little bit longer, that every 30 minutes to an hour means, yeah, it's time to go. I have to urinate or pee, whatever. Uh, so that kind of makes these little trips. I better know, how long it's going to get to either this stop or whatever stop to make a pit stop. And thankfully, from where I live to San Antonio, I know plenty of places that I can stop at. Um, but yeah, that's number one, is when your kidneys wake up, you have to use the bathroom a lot more than you're used to. Again, I was a dialysis patient for about 8 years, and I may went once, maybe twice a day. That not anymore. It's like it was, about 30 minutes to an hour. I had to go to the restroom or I had to make a pit stop. Now that it's been a little more than 3 months, I believe my bladder is, for lack of a better word, matured or just gotten stronger. Um, Now I don't quite have to go as much, um, like within an hour or so. Uh, every 2, 3 hours or at night, I can usually almost sleep 4 to 5 hours before I have to wake up and go. And I know a lot of people around my age uh, end up having to go often at night. And if you don't know, I know I don't look it, but I'm hitting 50 this year. So, yeah, waking up 2 or 3 times at night to uh, pee, I guess it comes with age or whatever. But when I was on dialysis, I could sleep through the whole night, not have to go until I woke up um, by my alarm. But that's number one on the experience. Okay, so now for number two on my list. Basically, it's a combination of things. So once you get a kidney, you have to basically take some meds that you are going to be on for, I'm just going to say, for as long as the kidney works. Because I guess once the kidney stops functioning, I don't know if I would still have to be on these meds. Um, Probably until they either take the kidney out or whatever. But these anti-rejection pills that I take, um, I have to be strict with the times that I take them, and I have to take it twice a day. Um, what does that mean? Well, non-rejection pills kind of, it lowers the, or lowers my immune system so that my body doesn't reject this new kidney. So that comes to part two of number two. And that's pretty much wearing a mask. Now, say what you will about wearing masks. Uh, since my immune system is basically, I don't know if I'd say compromised, but very low, I have to protect myself, my kidney, from either getting sick, catching a cold or flu or whatever, COVID, um, anything that would basically damage the kidney or make me very ill. So when I'm at home by myself, I don't have to wear a mask. When I'm in my vehicle by myself, I don't have to worry about wearing a mask. But when I go to somebody's house or a store or the doctor's office for follow ups or any doctor's office, I have to mask up because, I will be around a lot of people and you never know if they have something or they're carrying something. So I have to, protect myself. If I have people come over, if they are more than 6 feet away, I'm not making them wear a mask. But if they're closer than that, then yes, they have to wear one. And it's non negotiable. Those closest to me that have come by to visit, they understand it, they get it. Excuse me for a second. But yeah, they get it and understand. And I've had to explain to other people, you know, why they have to wear a mask and stuff, and they understand. So yeah, it's not always fun, but I got to do what I got to do. Now, if I'm in a vehicle with other people, I'm not I'm not making them wear a mask. I'm the one who's going to wear it. Um, it's not really fair to make them wear it if we're in a vehicle or whatever. Uh, but again, I'm just taking precautions. If we go out, I'll wear it into the restaurant and hopefully sit where there's not a whole lot of other people. And I'll take the mask off. But if one of my friends coughs or sneezes, it goes right back on. I don't care if it was dust or allergies or whatever. You know, I'm not. Uh, I got to take the precautions and wear it until at least the food arrives or I need to take a drink, like I just did a moment ago. But yeah, getting back to the meds, I have to be strict with those. Again, I got to take them twice a day in the morning and in the evening. And I have to, what's not fun about it is then I have to be strict when it comes to eating dinner because I cannot, or I'm supposed to not, and I've been good about it so far, that I cannot eat anything an hour before or an hour after taking the meds. That way, it doesn't affect the medications. So, at the times I take them are pretty much 8 in the morning and 8 in the evening, night, whatever. Um, so I got to make sure that I eat dinner basically around 6 and do my best not to go into 7. Now there have been a couple times where stuff has happened and you know I've taken the meds a little bit later, but I do my best not to make it a habit to make sure that I take my meds at the times I was told to take them. But I was also told after a certain time that I can adjust the times that I take them. Probably the next time I go to a follow up, I'll probably ask if I'm able to do that. Okay, let's talk about number 3 on my list. Basically, this one is the no nos. And when I'm talking about no nos, uh, I'm not talking about this nose, I'm talking about the foods and drinks that I can't have. And I'm somewhat a little bit sad about some of the things that are on this list, but you know, it's not that big of a deal. So let's talk about drinks. Um, I can't really, or I'm supposed to stay away from any type of herbal teas. So chamomile, green teas, some other type of herbal teas, I'm not supposed to have anymore. Um, that was really a downer because I really enjoyed, having green tea every now and then. Chamomile was nice, if I needed something a little calming, soothing, but, you know, I can adjust. Another thing that I pretty much can't have drink wise or that I should stay away from are fountain drinks. Um, you're probably wondering why. Uh, Mainly because they probably don't ever clean those hoses or the nozzles that the liquid comes out of. And that could be a place where bacteria grows. Uh, Even if the place does clean them uh, every day or whatever, it's just not worth me taking the chance. Um, I had asked, since it's summertime, if slushies were okay. And they're like, well, it's kind of about the same thing as fountain drinks, but far be it for me to tell you no. Water would be better. But, you know, so basically, I was kind of being told no, but maybe every once in a while. And no, I haven't had a slush yet, although, you know, I might have a small one sometime a little bit down the road. But anyway, so fountain drinks, no fountain drinks. And I'm okay with that. It just means I'm drinking a lot of either tea, iced tea, which I can have because it's usually mostly in those containers made, not coming out of the nozzles like fountain drinks. I know that there are teas that come out, so I don't have those teas. Just plain, regular, unsweet tea. Sometimes, with a little bit of lemonade. Um, that's if I have my own lemonade. But yeah, no fountain drinks, no herbal teas. Um, I think that might be it for drinks. The foods. One of them is no grapefruit, uh, which it's not a big deal to me. I wasn't a huge fan of grapefruit, um, but I was also told a type of drink that I can't have. A brand, I should say, would be Fanta, and I really liked Fanta drinks, especially the orange ones and the grape. But their doctors told me that they use some uh, grapefruit uh, juice or products to make those sodas. So I haven't had a Fanta since the surgery, and unfortunately, I won't be having it again. So that was one type of drink I was told that I can't have. Now, Sunkist or Crush, uh, maybe I'll have to do a little investigation on that. But continuing on foods, no more sushi, which really sucks because I really enjoyed eating sushi. Um, my favorite type of steak was definitely medium rare. Can't have that anymore. Um, has if I have a steak, it has to be uh, well done. Just hopefully a good steak place will have it still moist or well juicy and not dry. Um, and if they make their steak or marinate their steaks right, it should come out okay. But yeah, unfortunately, no more medium rare steaks for me. Buffets, uh, that's on the no list too. And I mean, I haven't eaten at a buffet in quite a while anyway. Although there are some places that I really enjoyed, like Golden Corral and the occasional Chinese buffet. But uh, yeah, no more buffets. Uh, and again, on the no foods, potlucks. Like I can go to a potluck as long as I bring my own food. That way I know it's been cooked right, properly. And I was just advised not to eat other people's food. Um, unless I know the person who cooked it and I trust them. But if I'm at a potluck with a lot of other people that I don't know, yeah, I'm either not going to the potluck or uh, just if I go bringing food that I can eat, that I know that won't make me sick or anything. But That's number 3. Okay, on to number 4 on this list. Um, if you're wondering why I have this on, um, basically, since I still have the fistula in my right arm, when I have to get lab work done, uh, it reminds those people not to use my right arm and just use my left. And I tell you, my left arm at first was definitely getting a beating with how many times it was getting poked and stuff. But on to number 4, and that is pretty much all the follow ups that I've had to do. First month, I had to make trips to San Antonio twice a week. Um, and these were early in the morning. Like I would have to be there at 8 in the morning to have labs done, wait a few hours to see whichever doctor on my team that I was going to see. And then after that, I would either go directly home or take advantage of being in San Antonio and hitting up a few stores. But doing that, I also have to make sure, give me a sec, I have to make sure that I have my non rejection pills with me. And so, the other pills that I take at a different time, I bring those with me also since I'm in San Antonio for so long. Uh, and I can't take my non rejection pills until after my labs are done. So uh, I might be able to eat a little bit of breakfast early in the morning. Um, but, after my labs are taken, I take my non rejection pills and then have to wait another hour to eat some real food, breakfast or brunch or whatever. Um, and I usually do bring a snack since I'm there all day. I just have to wait that hour after taking my first round of meds so I can eat something while I'm waiting. And I definitely want to make sure I have a drink with me. And side note, that is one of the nice things is I don't have to limit the amount of fluids that I take in. I'm not trying to go crazy with it, but you saw me take a drink from this, and this is a 30-ounce uh, cup. So, yeah, it's definitely nice not having to restrict on how many, you know, ounces or whatever that I can drink. But like I was saying, for the first month or so, 2 trips early in the morning. Sometimes I would stay at a hotel the night before, or have a uh, a ride in the morning. Uh, One of my relatives, if they weren't working that day or didn't have to work till later on that day, would take me because another thing I just remembered to say is usually the first month or so, or at least the first 3 weeks after the procedure, um, I cannot drive anywhere. I have to have somebody drive me, um, whether it's to a doctor's appointment or the follow ups or whatever. Um, I would have to have basically a chauffeur. Um, one time, I one of my cousins brought me to San Antonio, but he couldn't take me to the hospital. I had to ride in an Uber, and that experience was not great. But I'll get into that in maybe a different video. Um, but yeah, first month or so, it's 2 weeks to San Antonio, and it's usually about an hour and a half or a little bit more uh, of a drive, as long as you don't hit traffic. If you do, sometimes that rush hour traffic can be a pain in the butt, or the unexpected accident that if you're lucky enough, you can detour, or if you're not and you're stuck in traffic, um, if you're stuck in it too long, you have to reschedule pretty much the next day. But it does get better. After that first month, it became once a week trips, and then later on, uh, it's now to once a month. Um, I do my labs somewhere else. I don't have to do them at the hospital. I go to a place like either LabCorp or Quest, or someplace like that. Have my labs taken, and they send them up. And usually, on the day I go for my follow up, they have my labs, the results, and we go over it and make any adjustments to any medications that we need to. And we've had to make some changes, which is normal, since this is all being new. But yeah, that's number four. Lots of follow ups. I would have to say, kind of a good amount of money being spent on hotel rooms, gas. Uh, just good thing. A lot of the vehicles that have been used to go up there have decent gas mileage. But yep, that's number four. Now I just realized that, you know, going over the first four things was taking up some time. So I know I said I would do the 10 things. I think I'm going to just go ahead and make this into two videos. And so this will be, I will do two more and leave the other four uh, for another video. But so number five is lifting restrictions. Basically, and let's say my surgery was towards the end of February, or basically now, uh, I guess you would say the second week of July, and I'm still under lifting restrictions. How much? I'm not supposed to lift anything over, well, 10 pounds or over. Basically, that I don't strain the new kidney. Uh, we, just had it done, so I don't need to ruin it, having something happen to it, and then have to go through the whole process again, and probably have to go back to dialysis, and then wait for another available kidney, which was waiting for 8 years, just because my blood type is somewhat on the rare side. Um, my blood type is B positive, and was told that it's rare. It's found in uh, most Asians and African Americans or Black people. Um, so yeah, in my 8th year of dialysis, I was just like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen, or it's not, or I'll be on dialysis forever. And then when I got to that point, I got, the call. So, thank God for that. And that is one on my list, is being grateful, but I'll get to that later. Don't want to jump ahead of myself. But yes, I can't lift anything 10 pounds or more. Well, basically, let me amend that. On my last follow up, which was a couple weeks ago, I had asked if I was still on weight restrictions, and I was told yes, but that I could slowly start working up to maybe lifting a little bit more, as long as it didn't feel like I was straining myself. So uh, that's kind of what I'm currently doing, is trying to just slowly get back into it, you know, increasing some of the weight to where I don't feel like I'm straining when I'm lifting, 8 pounds or almost 10. But yeah, that's number five, is basically having to, restrict on what I can carry. And basically, I have to rely on other people uh, to pick up anything that's 10 pounds or more. And luckily, uh, I know people that they understand, and when I call for them to, help out, they do it. And, thank God for them. But yeah, weight restrictions kind of suck. Okay, so pretty much that leads into number six, exercise. When I was in the hospital, basically for about 3 weeks, I was in bed. Couldn't really do much the last couple weeks. Um, I was able to move from the bed to a chair that was close by, but uh, I would have to pretty much buzz the nurse's station um, to either one, have assistance, or basically supervision to make sure that I wouldn't fall. Because being in bed for a long period of time, um, your body is not used to moving or whatever. And uh, at this time, I still had the stitches and all, so I didn't want to do something to bust those stitches and have something happen to where the kidney would get damaged, or have, you know the stitches open and break. Um, but yeah, so since I've been home, or before I was sent home, just before I was discharged, they would have a physical therapist come by, and we would do some standing exercises, walking around, which I kind of started doing a little bit of that uh, before the therapist came. I would have a nurse kind of follow me, but I would do a little bit of walking, um, and then we would do some balancing exercises and stuff like that. When I got sent home, um, I was put on this program. I would have a physical therapist come by about twice a week, and we would do various different exercises, and that would help. Now the physical therapist doesn't come around anymore, because when I was reevaluated and they asked insurance if they can get another month, they were basically told no. Um, they were already seeing me for about 3 months, and they could possibly try again later down the road. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but so basically, I'm somewhat on my own, which is fine. I have to do the exercises that the therapist had me do, and I do some others a little bit. I have a couple dumbbells that I use, um, trying to strengthen arms, shoulders, and I do have a stationary bike that I ride for a little bit, just to get some joints moving more, and slowly increasing the amount of time that I can be on my stationary bike. I'm just following with one of the specialists told me to, start about 2 minutes, work my way up. Um, right now I'm at about five, and I'm I am continuing to, work up to staying on it longer. But yeah, that does take some time, especially if I have these plans later on. If I want to do some traveling, I know that there's going to be a lot of walking involved. So I need to be ready for, those kind of trips. But yeah, that's number 6. And uh, that's going to pretty much do it for this one video, part 1. Like I said, I don't want it to go on that long. But if you found this video informing, I would appreciate it if you gave it a like. Um, you can subscribe if you want, or not. I'm just doing some of these to document my journey, because if you look at the videos that are on my channel, it's not all about, a kidney transplant or dialysis, or what I experienced after my surgery. But with that being said, Simo says, be awesome to one another, and I'll see you in the next one.